The following is a production of the Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network.
Welcome back to the UFHL Now. I'm your host, Kyle Hall. We have a special edition episode today. It is All-Star Game Monday, so I will be joined right away from Mr. Insider, Larry Fisher, who gets boosted to my co-host seat this week. Larry, are you pumped for tonight's game?
Absolutely, Kyle. Can't wait to see the inaugural UFHL All-Star Game play out. We got some exciting rosters. They match up well between the Allen Conference and the Legends Conference, so it's going to be a fun night for the UFHL.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. There's some unbelievable names that are playing tonight in the game. But before we get into tonight's pregame coverage, let's talk about some new athletes that just signed on as digital athletes with UFSS. Dylan Ferguson being the first one. Great goaltender, great addition to the squad. Carson Kuhlman, Danik Martel, Nick DeSimone, former Ranger for a quick hot second there, and Travis St Denis. Some great additions to the team.
Yeah, and great stories too. I always enjoy looking into the athletes when they come on the platform and really learning their backstory and sort of profiling them. And I think I learned something new about every single one of them. I knew a lot about Dylan Ferguson because I covered him in the WHL when he was with the Kamloops Blazers. And he obviously had the cameo in the NHL as a teenager when he got called up by Vegas when they were depleted goaltenders and stuff. But then you get down to Travis St Denis, who I actually covered it with the Penticton Vs when they won the RBC Cup way back when in 2012, and he was just announced today, and I went to look him up on Twitter, and sure enough, he's really big into the NFTs and into the crypto space. So I thought that was a pretty cool crossover too, and then you get into seeing which of these players are teammates too. Travis St Denis actually is currently a teammate tied for fourth in scoring on the same team as Taylor Lear, who joined UFFS a couple of weeks ago, and then Nick DeSimone actually grew up played junior with Ryan Schmelzer. They were assistant captain with the Buffalo Junior Sabres. So up and down the list, Carson Kuhlman, obviously now with the Seattle Kraken, but had a great college career broken with the Boston Bruins. So another active NHLer joins the UFFS team. But all five of this week's announcements had great stories and were fun to dig into and learn something new about each of them in welcoming them to the UFFS platform.
Yeah, it's awesome. Seems like every day we have another announcement coming out there for a new digital athlete. I don't know what the exact number. I know we're over a dozen now, I think, in digital athletes. So it's awesome to see the platform grow and grow.
Yeah, I think we're up to 15 now, and soon to be 30. Soon to be, it keeps going. There's always athletes interested in signing up, and again, it's at no expense to the athlete, right? They've put in their entry fee by producing their career stats and having that fan following. So it's easy for them to get involved. And we try to create gameplay and other revenue streams to help monetize their digital career and really grow them as digital athletes.
Yeah, it's awesome. So if you're a professional athlete out there, you want to be a digital athlete, let us know. DM us. Let us know. Come aboard. It's only growing. It's getting better and better. But well, Larry, let's jump into the All-Star Game coverage. We had another captain named this last weekend. So who was the new captain named?
Yeah, we had to just vote on Twitter to determine the OR division captain. Our only defenseman, Kyle, that was named captain for the All-Star Game, and that is Cale Makar from the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, he's been scoring highlight reel goals, overtime winners all season for the Avs. I know you mentioned he might be leading Norris candidates, so not surprising that he would be an All-Star, but he edged out Timo Meier and Sebastian Aho. So Cale Makar of the Titans and the Colorado Avalanche will wear the C for the OR division.
So here, let's take a look at the Legends Conference lineup. So we had to break it up for gameplay. Instead of doing the actual divisions, we had to do conference style for the gameplay. So the Legends Conference, here we have a breakdown of what the lineup's going to be. Do you want to talk about some of the gameplay and what's going to happen today, Larry?
Yeah, it's going to be a full 5-on-5, 18 skaters aside, simulated gameplay on the NHL 22 video game. So that's how the All-Star Game will play out. We actually also named, Kyle, the honorary coaches and GMs for the UFHL All-Star Game. The 32 franchises voted for one All-Star rep, GM of the year to date, per se, from each conference. And the winners were, from the Allen Conference, was Andrea Karanduk of the Grizzlies, who doubles as the commissioner. She's the GM of the Grizzlies, so congratulations to Andrea. She got 15 votes. Arlo Scholes of the Stingrays was the runner-up with 5 votes. And you really look at what Andrea has done throughout the season. Obviously, Red Army had a bit of a sell-off when they fire sale for the roster when they won the Klein Cup and were the Gretzky and Allen Conference champions last season. So you knew Red Army was going to take a step back, but who was going to step up? And it was the Grizzlies, who actually, Kyle, won the inaugural Founders Trophy. They were the regular season champs in the shortened 2020 season, and they're back on top of that Gretzky division and the Allen Conference. So great job by Andrea Karanduk. And you look at the work that she's done, obviously acquiring a couple Minnesota Wild forwards and Matt Zuccarello and Ryan Hartman in recent weeks. Paid a steep price for them, but identified them as targets and they have been helping, and they will continue to help down the stretch. She's also going to get some reinforcements. Alex Tuck, recently back for the Buffalo Sabres. Jaden Schwartz, obviously coming back soon for the Seattle Kraken. And young Dylan Holloway could be a call-up down the stretch for the Edmonton Oilers. Sort of potential second-half impact players. And the Grizzlies go as the Oilers go. When the Oilers are hot, the Grizzlies are hot. They got Leon Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse. You go up and down the lineup. They got a handful of Oiler players. And the Oilers are one of the NHL teams that have a lot of games remaining. So the Grizzlies are going to get to gain some ground on the top 3. They're currently 4th place in the standings behind the Titans, Royals, and West Coast Express. So congratulations to Andrea Karanduk as the honorary coach GM of the Allen Conference. And in the Legends Conference, we have Donnie Talk of Kamikaze. Donnie won with 10 votes. Jacob Cambridge of the Titans was the runner-up with 8 votes. Again, Kamikaze is 3rd in the Ore division and 5th in the Legends Conference. But Donnie Talk's done a lot of great work over the last year, especially. We've talked a lot about buying low on Vladimir Tarasenko. He also acquired your guy, Jacob Trouba, straight up for Brendan Gallagher. He acquired John Gibson as another key acquisition in a trade for Semyon Varlamov last season. Looking ahead to this season, Kamikaze was going to miss the playoffs last year, but we're on the rise. And we talked about it too when we showed the GM, the movement from last season to this season. Kamikaze is up 10 spots from 16 to 6. The biggest riser among the UFHL franchises this season. So obviously fellow GMs took a look at that and felt that Donnie Talk was deserving of being the honorary coach GM for the Legends Conference. And with that, Donnie and Andrea will be able to help. It's a simulated gameplay, but they'll be able to sort of call some audibles per se. They can, maybe decide on a goaltending change, or, maybe they can shake up the power play unit. They can sort of help with the line combinations, all that sort of stuff. So bit of an interactive addition to the game. And the way it works, Kyle, is the two franchises, the two conferences, Allen and Legends, are battling for 115 USD worth of score coin is the prize pool. If you have a player on the winning conference, your player will be bringing home $5 USD worth of score coin, which amounts to a free trade, as well as the winning coach or GM, as far as Andrea or Donnie, they'll also get $5 USD worth of score coin. So a lot of franchises will be getting a free trade thanks to the inaugural UFHL All-Star Game.
That's very cool. There's some cash value there. Maybe some for the hosts, maybe a little handout for us as a thank you. I don't know. We'll have to work that on the side. But let's take a look at Andrea's team first here in the Allen Conference. Let's take a look at their roster and how it finalized. I know we had a change towards the end. There was a gross battle between my guy Chris Kreider and Kirill Kaprizov there at the end.
Yeah, what a battle that was. And actually, Chris Kreider overtook Kirill Kaprizov, scored 2 goals in the Rangers' last game before the All-Star break. I think he had 3 points to really cement his place in the Allen Conference lineup, overtaking Kirill Kaprizov by 5.83 points. And the way this worked, Kyle, was we actually merged, because we had initially done the Division All-Stars. We just merged the 2 Division All-Stars together. So there's 2 lines from the Gretzky division here and 2 lines from the Lemieux division, as well as, 3 defenders from each division. And the only thing is the goaltenders. We had to do the rule of every franchise must be represented. So some goaltenders wound up getting snubbed that otherwise would have been in the All-Star game. But if their conference wins, they're still going to get their All-Star payout for technically having made their division All-Star team. But you look at this Allen Conference lineup. We already touched on Chris Kreider overtaking Kirill Kaprizov. The other one that was a big storyline of interest was the battle between Matt Duchene and Jason Robertson to be the North Stars rep. Matt Duchene edged out Jason Robertson by 0.66 points. That was the closest race for an all-star spot. And to be honest, the North Stars were disappointed. Jason Robertson's their franchise player. They've really been promoting him as the franchise player. They would have loved to have gotten him in. And actually, I believe Cameron Turner, the North Stars owner, is going to propose a change for next season's All-Star game to potentially either go by fantasy points per game, in which Jason Robertson would have got the edge, or if they're within, 5 fantasy points or whatever, then maybe the franchise can select their own all-star rep if they're within 5 or 10 points of making the cut. So that may be something we consider for next season. Certainly if Cameron proposes it, the franchises will discuss that change at the off-season meetings. But I look at this lineup, Kyle, and I mean, how can you not love that top line with Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl? We know McDavid and Draisaitl have the chemistry from Edmonton. McDavid and Matthews worked out together all summer. So if you could put those three on a line, that'd be pretty incredible. Second line, you got basically the Colorado Avalanche's first line for a large portion of this season because Nathan McKinnon's been in and out of the lineup. He's been hurt. And Nazem Kadri has really stepped up as one of the NHL's leading scorers between Landeskog and Rantanen. So, and then obviously you got your Rangers line as well with Kreider and Zibanejad, flanked by Jake Guentzel from the rival Penguins. But that would be a good line. And little bit, you got some youth on defense with Maurice Sider, who's likely going to be in the running for the Calder Trophy, but maybe even the Norris. And another Ranger in goal, and Igor Shesterkin as the starter for the Allen Conference.
Yeah, a lot of Rangers out there. Kreider and Zibanejad, they're paired not only in the NHL, but in the UFHL All-Star Game too. They can't get away from each other, those two. Very solid lineup. That first top line that's going to be tough to beat. That's going to be very tough to beat. Now let's go take a look at the Legends Conference lineup. Again, I mean, stacked again with tremendous talent as well.
It is, for sure. And you look at this Legends Conference lineup, and I mean, obviously it starts with Alex Ovechkin, right? You got Ovechkin, Stamkos, and Huberdeau on the top line, 2 Royals in Ovechkin and Huberdeau. And then you go down to the second line, you got Svechnikov and Aho, the Carolina tandem. I mean, up and down the lineup, obviously some names on that fourth line you might not expect in an All-Star game with Skinner and Riley Smith. But again, every franchise needed to be represented. For Duckmans and the Assassins, Skinner and Smith were their leading point getters heading into the All-Star game. I would give the edge on defense to the Legends Conference, obviously with Hedman and Letang, as well as Makar being the captain from the Orr division. So it's going to be interesting if Hedman and Makar and Trouba and these guys can shut down McDavid, Matthews, and Draisaitl. And then it comes down to goaltending, right? You got Shesterkin at one end and along with Thatcher Demko, and then you got Jack Campbell and Jacob Markstrom at the other end. So it's going to be interesting. As far as storylines go in this conference, Johnny Gaudreau overtook JT Miller by 2.51 fantasy points, bumping out JT Miller. So Johnny Gaudreau made the lineup on Calgary's last game before the All-Star break. And again, the goaltending situation, the tandem actually would have been UC Saros and Andrei Vasilevsky, but because the Gators and the Snipers needed a rep, they were able to get Jack Campbell and Jacob Markstrom in there for goaltending. And everybody loves a high-scoring All-Star game and entertaining All-Star game, so it was a little easier to snub the goaltenders when it came down to, okay, who do we got to cut to make sure everybody gets a rep? It just worked out that you could merge the two divisions, combine them into one roster for the conference, and then cut the goaltenders that were left over. So yeah, obviously Saros and Vasilevsky there, as well as Tristan Jarry actually would have started the conference. But again, they already had reps from those franchises, so we spread the wealth around and got every franchise into the All-Star game, got some goalies in from other franchises, and we'll see. Hopefully they don't get lit up too badly.
Saros and Vasilevsky are tough. Those are tough snubs. They're having an incredible season. Saros is definitely they're both up for the Vezina, I would assume, and obviously Vasilevsky's been probably the top goaltender in the NHL the past couple of years. So tough snubs there for this conference. That's rough.
Yeah, and the other one, Kyle, going back to the Allen Conference, I forgot to touch on, is your boy Adam Fox. That was probably the toughest of all because he got hurt right before the All-Star game. You can imagine when Chris Kreider scored those 2 goals, Fox probably would have had at least an assist on one of them. Instead, he's out injured, and Roman Josi overtakes Adam Fox on the blue line for the Allen Conference by 2.4 fantasy points. And the big riser there was actually Jake Guentzel. Austin Matthews had a wicked last 2 games against New Jersey to really solidify himself, but Jake Guentzel jumped over Joe Pavelski, and Joe Pavelski's having a great year in Dallas, but Jake Guentzel actually overtook him by 4.08 fantasy points. So interesting how those battles came right down to the last days prior to the NHL break for roster battles, and then certainly when you combine the divisions into the conference, you really see the talent on display on both sides of the UFHL.
All right, now here's the toughest question you'll get asked all day. What's your prediction for the game? Who's bringing home the hardware? Who's bringing home the cash?
It was a tough one, Kyle. And again, I kept looking back at that top line for the Allen Conference, and I'm going to predict the Allen Conference will prevail. They'll defeat the Legends Conference. I'll throw out a high score. I'll say 7-4 in the inaugural UFHL All-Star Game. I just think there's too much firepower there for Jack Campbell. I think Austin Matthews probably knows his weak spots from Toronto, so I think you put Matthews with Draisaitl and McDavid. Even though they have Hedman and Makar and some of those guys on the other side, I don't think Jack Campbell and Jacob Markstrom can stop that much firepower. Again, that Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl line would be wicked to watch, as well as that all Avs line having the chemistry. And again, as far as goaltenders in the All-Star game go, Shesterkin was the top goaltender of the 4 that made the cuts. So that Shesterkin is going to backstop the Allen Conference. And I know you, Kyle, 3 Rangers to 1. I think it's pretty easy to side with the Allen Conference. But what do you think is going to happen in tonight's All-Star game?
I'm taking the over. That's what I'm taking. I'm taking the over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I like you said, the Allen Conference. That top line that's going to be tough to beat. And then of course, a couple Rangers there. Still upset about the Adam Fox snub, but what can you do about that? But it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. I know everyone around the league is super excited. I saw some people talk today on Telegram, and I'm pumped to see this all play out. And I really think I think it's going to be. I'll go Allen Conference, and I'll go 8-4.
Oh, they're getting an extra goal. I went 7-4, so you're up 8-4. So that's
I'm going 8-4.
Let's hope smart minds think alike here at the UFHL All-Star Game.
I think the over is going to be set at 10.5, and I'm going to go over. I'm going to take the over no matter what. I think that's going to hit. There's a lot of firepower in this game. Now, hopefully, I think that's a safe bet to take the over. I think Jack Campbell's going to have a tough outing trying to stop all that firepower. So. Going to be really exciting, though, to see how it all plays out tonight. Again, inaugural UFHL All-Star Game, something we're trying for the first time as we sort of move more towards getting into the esports space, something we want to do in the future, have an actual UFHL league that mirrors the rosters and have a full esports league. Obviously, there's some tech stuff that has to be figured out to get that all set up. But down the road, esports is going to be a big part of the UFFS platform, as well as obviously the Legends League with the video game simulation. And certainly tonight is also the game of the week for the inaugural American Football Legends League gameplay. And that's been a great hit yesterday. All Sunday, you could watch football from sunrise to sunset. A great start to the AFLL, and they'll be going at it again tonight with the game of the week with Andy McNamara doing the play-by-play with Dan Esposito. So can't wait to see how the Legends League football goes tonight, as well as the UFHL All-Star Game. We're planning for a 7 p.m. Eastern puck drop, so the UFHL All-Star Game should be over just in time for Monday Night Football. And then that'll all be on the UFS Network, where our show, you find us every week on YouTube at UFS Network. And then I'll be, hopefully the show will be out around 6 o'clock tonight. And then we'll lead you right into the gameplay at 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune in. Larry, any final words before we sign off and send it over to the All-Star Game?
Just great first half to the UFHL season, Kyle. Tons of parity top to bottom. The NHL also resumes with a couple games tonight, and they're going to be playing throughout this Olympic break. So great that we don't have 3 weeks off of the NHL, although I would have loved to see best on best. I would have loved to see Austin Matthews going head to head with Connor McDavid on the Olympic stage, but we don't get that, but we get a continuation of the NHL season over the next few weeks, starting tonight. So obviously everybody's got to get those lineups set again, and best of luck to all 32 franchises in the second half of the Ultimate Fantasy Hockey League season.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So let's send you down the All-Star game and have fun, everybody.